Okay, y'all, so the bees are out here buzzing, and let me just say, if you're not careful, you might just get stung. Your girl Dominique Fishback has did her thing in this new Prime original series entitled Swarm. Now, this also stars Chloe Bailey, and it has an appearance by Damson Idris. But do not get your hopes up because your boy Damson dies in the first episode. Spoiler alert. Now, guys, if you're new to my channel, then go ahead and take a look around. If you like it over here, then make sure to go ahead and subscribe to your girl channel. Now, for all my day ones and channel members, you already know what to do. Now, today we're going to be talking Swarm Season 1, Episode 1, Stung, y'all. Let's get into it.
Her makeup. I wouldn't be able to touch her face. My hands would be shaking. I can't stay here with you. Why are you doing this to me?
I had to ask you to leave.
It's sketchy.
I promise.
Okay, y'all, so we're going to meet up with the characters Dre and Marissa. Now, we are going to learn that they are sisters and they are extremely close. Now, we're also going to meet Marissa's boyfriend named Khalid, who is being played by Damson Idris, by the way, guys. Now, we are going to notice that Dre is in love with Nyjah. We're going to see her with her Discover car. She just got a brand new car. She just broke that baby open and she activated and she is trying to get these tickets. Now, when we look, we're going to see that these tickets for this Nyjah concert is going to be like $1,800 a piece, y'all. But she's going to end up buying two of them, one for herself and one for her sister. So, you know, Dre is not playing about Nyjah. She is completely in love with Nyjah. And you can kind of get the feeling from the moment that you meet this character that she's slightly borderline, maybe a little bit obsessed with it. Now, we are going to see a part where Dre is going to end up coming out and her sister is in the other room having sex with her boyfriend, who's being played by Damson Idris. And Dre just kind of stands there. Now, what we are going to learn about the character Dre is that Dre is very blunt to a certain extent. In my opinion, I think that's what kind of draws you into this character initially, because she's very straightforward and she's very direct, but it's so with a naive-ish kind of feel to it. Almost childlike, if you want to explain it that way. Now, we are going to see a part where Dre is actually going to go out to get Frenchie, which is a popular spot out in Houston, by the way. It's a chicken place. So anyway, we're going to see her do that. And then we're going to see her stop by a store. And when she stops by the store, the lady at the store is like, look, your sister owes me money for these banana flavored condoms, you know. Now, there is going to be this one part when she actually comes back with the food and Khalid and Marissa are going to be sitting around and they're going to be doing their weirdness. And then Marissa is going to ask her like for her half of the rent money. And she's like, I don't have any money. And she's just like, look, you just got paid. And then she told her about how she had to pay the money to the store and how she just bought the food. And I'm just like, girl, that wasn't that much money. What happened to the rest of your money? Because you used a credit card for these Nyjah tickets. So anyway, y'all, the math just wasn't mathing on that. But I guess it really wasn't important. So anyway, we are going to learn that Marissa is a makeup artist and she's going to have this opportunity to actually do this really popular person's makeup, you know, because her regular person got hurt and this is going to allow her to maybe possibly get a full-time gig with the artist. So she's going to ask Dre to close for her the next day. So she's, you know, excited about it. And of course, she's going to do it for her sister and all that good stuff. So anyway, y'all, moving on, we are going to see just how close these two really are. We're going to see them putting on makeup and Marissa's basically practicing on her sister's face and, you know, taking pictures for her portfolio. They're going to end up smoking together and you just get this really close feeling of these two. You get to see how close they truly, really are and that they mean a lot to each other and that they really lean and need each other. Now, we are going to see one moment where Marissa puts her arm around her and you're going to see her wrist and it looks like Marissa has tried to cut herself. Maybe she's tried to take her own life because there's this large scar on her wrist, right? And Dre is going to reach down and kiss it and then Marissa's going to be like, you know, you don't have to do that every time. So it must be something that they do on a consistent basis. But I say all of this to say that they really build up this relationship between the two of them and they give you a sense of how these two really feel about each other and the dynamics of how they work. You can tell that Marissa is the outgoing one who has to take care of Dre in a sense because Dre is a little more childlike in a way, I guess you would say. She is not as responsible probably as she should be. She's way into Nyjah a lot, and she would probably spend her last dime on Nyjah versus doing what she's supposed to do, the same way that she went and paid the $1,800 per ticket for, you know, her and Marissa. This is Marissa's birthday present, by the way. Now, we are also going to learn that she did tell Khalid about the tickets, and she told him not to tell her about it because it was a birthday present. And we also learned at that time that he wanted to take Marissa to Atlanta. So I already knew there was going to be a conflict right there when we heard that little part. So anyway, moving on to the next day, they're going to, Marissa's going to be at work because they actually work at the same place. They work at the mall in a kiosk, but your girl Dre is going to end up late because Dre was smoking, and she said she don't like to smoke, but she smoked with her sister Marissa and ended up getting up really late. So she ends up just running into work just how she was. I mean, she literally rolled out of bed, ready roll, y'all, like literally, and went in, hair all over the place, makeup looking crazy, eyelash on her face, just everything. It was so crazy. But anyway, she gets there, and then Marissa has to get her together because they boss is like, look, you cannot work like this. So Marissa kind of gets her together. But once again, this just kind of shows us how Marissa takes care of Dre and how much Dre truly depends on Marissa. Now, Marissa's going to end up leaving, of course, to go to her gig, and Dre is going to be there closing up. Now, we are going to see Khalid pop up for whatever reason, and when he pops up, he wants Dre to go take him to help him pick out a gift for Marissa. So she leaves the kiosk unattended. Now, after they go and look for perfume or whatnot, Khalid is going to have this awkward interaction with her again. Now, keep in mind, Khalid has been having these awkward interactions with her for the longest. He says the weirdest and crazy things to her. It's like he just doesn't respect her at all. Now, like I said, she does have this childlike feel to her in a way, and he just treats her as such, I guess you would say. It's just very awkward the way that he treats her in all of these scenes. Now, when she comes back, the kiosk is going to get vandalized. So, of course, you know, Marissa left her there to close and trusted her to do so, and then something happened. So now she has to call Marissa. Marissa has to leave her gig to come there. And of course, she's upset about this. Of course, she's mad about this because this was an opportunity for her, and they might possibly lose their jobs. Now, once they get back to the house, you know, Dre is apologizing to her, saying that she's sorry. She hugs her, and she tells her, like, you know, I got you tickets. You know, I got tickets to Nyjah for your birthday. And she's just like, look, you're broke. And plus, Khalid wants to take me to Atlanta. Now, as they continue to talk, she's like, she's going to spend the night at Khalid's house. And then when she gets back from Atlanta, she might just move in with him. And Dre is just like, you really want to move in with him? You haven't even known him that long. And Marissa's just like, this is what you do with all of my boyfriends. You don't like any of them. And she's just like, because they're all dumb. You know, and then she goes on to tell her that Khalid tried to come on to her, that he tried to have sex with her, which is actually true and accurate. In the store, he was having these weird conversation with her. You know, he was saying inappropriate things, and it is what it is. So of course, Marissa she's still agitated, and it feels like she just needs to breathe, and she just wants some air, and she just needs to get away from Dre for a minute. And so she ends up leaving and driving off, and of course Dre is running behind her and trying to chase after her. And then that's how that scene kind of ends. Now we are going to see that Dre is going to come back in later. She's going to be looking at Nyjah's concert, and for whatever reason, she gets hype after seeing that concert, and she gets on her best clothes, and she gets on out there and goes to the club, finds this dude, pulls him out on the dance floor, and they are doing their thing. Now, while all of this is happening, of course, Marissa is sending her sister messages, you know, asking her, did she see the festival, and just, you know, talking to her. And then she's telling her how Khalid cheated on her, and her messages are like, pick up the phone, Dre, I miss you, I love you, you know, come home, and talking about Khalid. And we find out that her and Khalid had this big fight. And Dre missed all of these messages because of course she was out and then she had spent the night with this guy. And then she gets all of the messages the next morning. She goes home to surprise her sister. But when she gets in the bed with her, she notices that her sister is not moving. She's really stiff and she turns her face and you can see blood on the pillow and her sister has taken her life. Now it looks like Dre gets her to the hospital and there at the hospital, clearly, you know, they couldn't save her life because she was already dead. And then this is the point where you see Dre kind of reeling from this situation because this is the one person who she has a true connection with, who she knows loves her, who takes care of her, who is always there for her. And now she's gone. She's dead. You know, she's taken her life. Now, I did mention earlier that you could see where this is something that Marissa has probably tried to do in the past already, which tells me that there is a lot of story behind all of this, that there is some trauma in her life somewhere that we just haven't got the full picture of just yet. But at this point, Dre is going through it. And when she goes to the funeral and she's asked to leave the funeral and the funeral director tells her the family wants you to leave, your girl is like, wait a minute, but this is her sister. What do you mean the family wants you to leave? And at this moment, you know, Dre is like, but I am family. I'm her sister. And he's just like, you know, this is the Lord today. Just please respect the family's wishes. And it's at this point that we learn that they may not be biological sisters. And the first thing that went through my mind is that they must be adoptive sisters or something like that, or maybe they were just best friends. But we are going to learn later in another episode that they truly are sisters and that Dre was actually a foster child and was adopted by the family. And she was the sister that Marissa always wanted. And so there's a whole story behind that, and we'll get to that when we get to that particular episode. But I just thought it was crazy that we see how close they are, we see how much they love each other, but yet the family asked her to leave. And I was just like, man, there has to be a lot more to this story. So anyway, y'all, we are going to see that at this moment, you're going to start to see the bees start to buzzing. Like, this is when we first get to see this noise. We start to see these bees buzzing. And I don't know, I feel like, I don't know if this was her breaking point. I don't know if this is the point where Dre just snaps or whatever because she can't go to this funeral. But we do see that she goes over to Khalid's house. Now, we know that she's definitely going to blame Khalid for this whole situation with Marissa because, I mean, she basically took her life because he was cheating on her. And she probably has a whole lot of other things going on as well. But we know that at the moment, at the time, that this is what was going on in her sister's life. So she goes over there, she talks to him, and there's a moment where he starts crying. She asks him why he wasn't at the funeral and that he should have been at the funeral. And she tries to comfort him a little bit. And I don't know, once again, it gets a little weird with him. And he asked her if she wants some tea because, of course, we know she doesn't drink. And then he goes in there to get her the tea. And then as soon as he goes in there to get the tea, Dre just walks up behind him and just clocks him with this vase or something. I mean, she just beats him down. And this is her first body, y'all. This is when Dre kills her first person, and it is what it is. And honestly, to be fair, I can't even say she killed her first person because there is going to be a lot of things that are going to come out later that has me thinking that this might not be her first body, but this is the first person in this episode that Dre takes out, y'all. And I do think that it's also important to mention that there was also another underlying reason why Dre just wasn't feeling Khalid at all, and that's because he didn't respect Naija at all. He said something to her about why he didn't like Naija. I can't remember the exact wording of it all, but that was another reasoning. And we're going to see this continuous theme as we get more and more into the show. And last but not least, we are going to see her start to gorge on food after she kills him. She goes into the refrigerator and she just starts eating this food. Now, I'm pretty sure this is symbolic of something. I'm pretty sure that it represents something. And as we get more and more into the episodes, we'll try to dive into that a little bit more as well. So overall, guys, I thought that this was an excellent show. So far, so good. I've looked at the entire series thus far. It is totally binge watchable. Let me know what y'all thought about this TV show if you have watched it, or if you're going to be watching it. Once you get a chance to look at the first episode, let me know what you think about it. Go ahead and get the conversation started down below, guys. What do you think about Dre and how she is broken now that she has lost Marissa? Do you think that her not being able to attend that funeral is really what broke her, or what do you think was her true breaking point? Now, meanwhile, guys, if you like this video, make sure to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to your girl channel if you haven't already. Now, YouTube tells me that you just might like this video next, so go ahead and take a look at it. Until next time, guys, peace.